Good morning, everyone. Can everyone see my screen and hear me? So we'll just go through this quickly to this syllabus. So we'll just talk about this syllabus and we'll quickly jump into various types of testing. Okay. So I'll be the instructor for QA. If you have any questions, you can reach out to me. In QA point of view, or even if you are interested in ETL point of view. Okay. So, you know, mostly it's better to email and schedule a meeting, okay, because, not every time I'll be available on my desk or, some other meeting will be there. So I request, first to email, or if not, yeah, you can call me. If I'm not available at the phone, just email me so that you can schedule a time and we can discuss. Okay, so here let's talk about this. So, this is how I, proceed with this. There are various types of testing. So we'll just discuss today and tomorrow. Various types of testing. Okay. What are the various types of testing? This is like, it's not necessary you will be using all of this in your project. You may use one or two in this, or yes, you may also, based on the project, you may also use everything in that, or maybe it will not be here, but you're still be using something different types of testing. But it's good to know. Okay, so once you know this, you'll understand, the process and the way you, start testing. Okay, so there's two classes, and make sure you guys attend tomorrow's class. Okay, that's Wednesday, because half of this will complete today and the remaining half I'll finish this and we'll start really to see how to open defects. Okay, so that's our job, right? As a QA, we are supposed to open defects, right? We are, you are hired to, you know, to tell them that the application is broken, or the software is broken, and so your job is really very, it's based on your observation skills and how you really observe and how you did it. So that should be the most important criteria when you start your testing. Okay, so make sure tomorrow's class you attend it. If it's, even if it's not there, you can view my recorded video, or if you have any questions, we can work on that one too. Okay, so these are various types of testing. So second class, okay, we'll talk about this. Okay, functional testing. So mostly we will be discussing all about the functional testing, and we see how the how we open defects, and we can work on this one. Okay, so next third and fourth class we'll discuss on test management tool. Okay, this is Rally. Now we'll talk about this Rally. Rally is a test management tool. Here we use Rally, but it don't have to be. You only you don't have to stick into one, like saying that no, Manu only told Rally, so I know only Rally. So that's the problem, right? You should not stick to only one. There's a lot of tools in the market. A lot of things keep on changing. A lot of things evolve. So right now you're using Rally. Tomorrow it will be HPLM, or TFS, Team Foundation Server, or it could be ClearQuest, or it could be ClearBase. It could be Zephyr. So all these are test management tools, right? So what you need to understand is the process. What I always tell everyone, you understand the process, not the tool. Tool will be changing, right? Today you're using Rally, tomorrow you don't. Simple. Okay. So in that case, in that scenario, you want to understand the process. So these are the major components. We'll discuss about this tool. You can be comfortable with this. Okay. You can be better. I'll be giving you access for this. Okay. You'll get an access and you can work on this, create, I'll be giving you homework. Make sure you guys do the homework, okay? So it's very important you do the homework. Okay, so make sure you guys do. Is the disturbance, so let me mute everyone. If if you have any questions, you can unmute yourself, okay, and you can. Okay, so we'll discuss various modules in this rally. So what you're going to do and what we what are the various components. The rally is very easy. I don't want to say easy. I'm saying it's user friendly. Rally is user friendly. You know why? Because if you want to compare that HPALM, that has really lot of issues. Um, you want to do a lot of redundant work with that, but everything is eliminated in Rally. Okay, so that's pretty user friendly and very easy to understand. Okay, so that's a good point on this. And mostly it is used in Agile. Okay, so if you're in waterfall methodology, you can still use it, but some people may not prefer, some people may prefer. Okay, so sure. Yeah, somebody had some question, right? So email. So yeah, I already sent an email syllabus. Okay, guys, maybe some people might not got. Okay, if you guys didn't get a syllabus email, you can send me an email. Okay, don't ping here, don't ping in chat. Send me an email at manu@itamerica.com. So I'll send you the syllabus. Okay. So this is the syllabus, and of course you'll be getting recording of this too by the end of the today. I'll be almost sending in 1 or 2 hours, but just wait for 4 p.m. If you're not getting by 4 p.m. and you're recording some material, you can email me. I'll be sending before 4 p.m. Okay. But until then, just you have to wait because I need to work on this recording and send you. Okay. Okay. So yeah, you'll be getting recordings, you'll be getting homeworks, you'll be getting a lot of things. So if you're not getting 1 or 2, just send me an email. I have only few candidates, maybe 5, maybe 5 to 6 candidates I have. If you guys are not getting, make sure you send me an email. I mean, you can do by today. If you're not getting 4 p.m., just send me an email like manu@itamerica.com. Don't ping me here because I may not able to write it down. Okay. Okay. So here, that is third and fourth class. We'll discuss about this rally and we'll talk about this various modules and how are we going to create test cases. How are you going to execute the test cases? How are you opening defects here and how are you going to generate reports? We see report generation is a little bit senior level, like QA, senior QA, or QA lead point of view, but we'll still talk about this. Fifth class, we'll talk about. Okay, we'll do this SharePoint a little later. We'll talk about this various documents. Now we'll be dealing with a lot of documents. Okay, even if it is in Agile, right? They're trying to reduce the documents. Okay. They're trying to remove documents, making minimal, but it's not really possible, right? You cannot remove completely all the documents. Okay, so there are still these documents that you need to know, you need to understand all these documents. So we'll go through this, various documents, and I'll be giving you access for this too. Google Drive. So once you have this access to Google Drive, you can view this document by yourself and understand how the document look like. Okay, that's how you can see. And of course, homework on this. I'll be also giving homework on this one. Then we'll talk about this SDLC, software development lifecycle. Then we also have STLC, software testing lifecycle. Then we'll go to bug lifecycle. These life cycles are actually it's a methodology. I mean, it's a process, a framework. It's a framework. Now, somebody asked me a question, right? Somebody asked me, can we get access to SDLC? Now, that's really not a, this is not a software. What you need to understand, this is not a tool. This is not a tool. This is not a tool. It's a framework. Although this is done by the management perspective, but you have to know how we perform the various functions in in the environment, right? We are in developer, testers, a lot of people, right? You're not alone. You're involved with a lot of people. You need to understand how the framework works, how the system works, right? So that's the reason you want to know this SDLC, and bug lifecycle. Okay, so that's the reason you want to know. So it's kind of framework. Okay. And also, of course, various types of methodologies. What's the methodology, and how we present. So it's also a framework how you move into the project. And we will have one full class for Agile, so we learn about terminologies, we learn what's the use of various terminologies, of course, and we'll also work on various types of meetings, what you actually will be doing in Agile, so we'll talk about this in detail for one full class. Okay. Next, we'll go to second class, that will be on Jira. So Jira is, again, a test management tool. I'll be giving you access to this tool too. Understand this tool. This tool is completely different with Rally, because Rally is from CA Technologies, Jira is from Atlassian. Two different companies, nothing to do with each other. Only thing is you are just learning an additional tool here, okay? Just a knowledge of an additional tool, right? That's the reason of having this Jira. Again, HPLM is again an extra tool. It's a test management tool, of course. All of the Jira, Rally, HPLM are all test management tools. So you will be having access. Okay, so for this access, you need to request to Tagore if you have any questions. I don't have really access for this. And I would recommend you to be minimal on HPLM, although you can, just have an understanding, know the modules, understand the process, everything is good. But I would not recommend you to go in detail to HPLM. HPLM is slowly getting obsolete day by day. Because this Agile has come, once the Agile has come, new technologies come up, new softwares come up, new frameworks come up, a lot of new things happen. HPLM, on the other hand, really becomes a little bit obsolete, and it has a lot of issues in the administrator itself.
Hello, sir. Hello.
Yeah.
Sir, can you go a little bit slowly?
You want to hear slowly?
Yeah, you can go a little bit slowly. It's too fast, I think so.
Okay, sure.
Thank you so much.
Okay, so yeah, the only reason, I was a little bit fast because we have less time, right? Only 1 hour, and we need to complete a little bit the syllabus. So that's the reason I go a little bit fast. But yeah, you will get to that. Even if I go fast, you will, you will be understanding, most of the part of QA. Okay, so that's about HPLM. Okay. So just an introduction class. I'll be not giving homework on HPLM, so you can just have an understanding how this works and various modules in the HPLM. In 9th class, we'll talk about this. This is an automation, QTP. Okay, so QTP is Quick Test Professional, and this is used for automation, for the regression testing. Okay, once you complete, there are various stages. We'll talk about this, various stages in testing. Once you complete particular testing, you will get into another testing. Okay, so that's called regression testing. One of this is the regression testing. Although as a QA, you may not, be involved in automation, but you are expected to do also, because based on the requirements. Okay, sometimes they say, okay, there's 20% automation, 80% manual, so you want to do this both. Okay, so that's the reason I introduced a QTP, so that you get, this will be just an introduction. You can learn, or I'll be giving you access to the Selenium tool. Selenium, you can practice Selenium. So all these are automation tools where you will be learning in regression testing. Okay, so that's 9th one. 10th class, we'll talk about the certification. So, I'll be giving you homework for this certification before itself. You want to complete this certification. So this certification is this is free. It's free. It's completely free. You don't have to pay a penny in this, except for the internet bill. Okay, you want to complete this, and this is the reason I did this, because see, normal people prefer certifications, right? Um, this is not like ISQB or that level of certification, but still, it's good to have the certification so that you can also put in your resume saying that, hey, you know what, I've got the certification from MBA, that's Microsoft Virtual Academy, and it's directly from Microsoft. If you are good at it, good at Sealer, so we'll talk about these, certifications. That will be our last class, and we'll see, if anyone has any questions in this, we can work on that one. Any questions so far? And this was just a syllabus, what we were going to work on this. Any questions? Okay, if no questions, let's get started. So we'll talk about these various types of testing. Okay, there are various types of testing. So let's start with black box testing. Okay, so what is this exactly, this black box testing? So in this, the testing is based on requirements and functionality. Okay, and this is done by the testers and not by the programmers. Okay, so you need to understand black box testing is done by the testers and not by the programmers. Okay, and tests are based on requirements and functionalities. So we'll talk about this. What are the functionalities and requirements? And let's see. Let's have an idea what's a requirement. What is a functionality? So what is a functionality? The functionality is it can be anything. Like it can be image, it can be a text box, it can be edit box, it can be scroll down button, it can be any button, it can be radio button, and so on. Okay, that is functionality. So let's see here. So if you see this Google.com, just for an example, I know everybody knows Google.com. A lot of people said, everyone, I know Google.com. There's nothing to see in this. But what I'm trying to say here, we'll try to understand what is the functionality here. Okay, just we'll try to understand functionality. So everything what you see in this web page is a functionality. For example, this Google.com. This is a URL, of course. Everybody knows this is a URL. But that's also a functionality. Okay, that means these buttons. So these are. These are not buttons. Yeah, this is. Let's click here. Okay, let's click in this. So this is a store. Okay, this is a store, and this gets navigated to a different web page. Okay, so it's a different URL altogether. So that's also functionality. So everything here, you see this text. Edit box, this text, this image, you see this image. So this is also a function. So all this, whatever you do in this web page is called functionality. Okay, and the requirements. And what are the requirements? Requirements is something which is a document. Sometimes they put a document. It can be a document or word to mouth. Sometimes BA business analyst that tells you, what, this is the requirement. We have not updated the document, just work on this requirement, that's it. So that is a requirement. Okay, so sometimes it's word to mouth, or sometimes it's a document is good, everything is the document. Sometimes they don't update it, but they just tell you, okay, do this, and we don't have. So that's called requirements. Okay, anything which is specified, okay, is called requirements. Okay, so now the way it goes, right? So black box testing. So now what happens, right? Your boss suddenly says to you, okay, have you completed your black box testing? Okay, so now what you need to make your boss understand. So your boss ask all these questions, right? Or they might know, they may not know, they'll ask you these questions. So you need to be very, very careful in answering these questions, okay? So what you need to say is black box testing is done by the team level and not by the individual level. So why? Because black box testing has various modules, all the system testing, functional testing, all these are covered in the black box testing. Hence, it's a team level effort, not an individual effort. Hence, you cannot ask me directly, have you done black box testing? Yes, you can ask the lead, because lead, handles small, team, lead handles the team, right? So of course, he might able to answer it, black box testing is completed or not. But at the individual level, you cannot really, answer this. Have you completed this black box testing? So we need to say that black box testing is done at a team level, not the individual level, because it has the different modules integrated in it, such as functional testing, system testing, integration testing, so on. That constitutes to form a black box testing. Okay, so that's called black box testing. So let's go to the next one. White box testing. So now this testing is based on the code. Okay, this is completely based on the code. And white box testing is done by the developers. Again, it's a high level testing. White box testing is high level testing done by the developers. Okay, not by the testers. Why? Because internal logic of an application code has to be known. Okay, let's see here pretty quick how the white box testing can be done. So really, we are not doing the white box testing, but what I'm trying to show you that this is how the developer works. If any developer has to work, in the white box testing, of course, this is a team level effort, because white box testing is really not an individual, because it contains a lot of sub-modules like integration testing, unit testing, all these constitute to form white box testing. Okay, so this is where developer looks the code, and this is how they troubleshoot. If there's any issue in the code, once they figure it out what the issue is, and then once they find it, they look at this to code and they troubleshoot it. They remove this whatever the issue is. So that's called white box testing. Okay. So again, going back to our definition, white box testing is a high level testing done by the programmers and not by the testers. Why? Because internal logic of an application code has to be known. Okay. Any questions so far in this? So your boss may ask you, just randomly, just pointing you randomly, they might ask you such kind of questions. You need to be aware of this kind of scenario, so you may answer very carefully. You need to make sure you answer this very, very carefully, because you don't want to give you a wrong impression while answering the questions. Okay. So, if no questions, so let's move to the next one. Let's talk about this unit testing. Again, this unit testing is done by the developer, okay, and not by the testers, because you need to, you need to understand the detailed knowledge of a program, right? For example, here we did, like we saw here, right? Let's go back here again. So if you look at this unit, the name itself, right? Unit. That means there's a lot of code here. This code constitutes a lot of things. This is HTML. It has JavaScript. It has HTML. It has a lot of things are integrated in it. It might have Ajax. Since it is a video, if there's a video too, it might also include the various codes. Okay, various lot of things to be here. So now coming back to unit testing, that means if there is any problem or any issue in this particular code, then particular unit is troubleshooted. Unit, right? That means a single, single module. So if you click on this, let's say if you are looking into this, this is some specific unit. Okay, just one box here. This is called unit. So that's how you do unit testing. Okay. Again, this unit testing is not done by the testers, it's done by the programmers. Okay, because you need to have complete knowledge on what the code is. If you look at this, if you know you don't know what is this all about, right? If you don't know what's happening here, where this, where this they are pulling out, which server does it finding out, which URL it is navigating. If you don't know all this, you cannot troubleshoot, right? You cannot do unit testing. So that's the reason, this is programmer is responsible for this. Okay, does it make sense? Okay, so let's go to the next one. Before going to integration, we'll talk about this functional testing. Okay, before going to that, we'll talk about this functional testing. So what exactly is this functional testing? So we'll go detail in this because this is what we'll be doing. Okay, most of them, in any case, even if you're doing any type of testing, functional testing is the main theme of that testing. Okay, without functional testing, all other testing cannot be performed, right? It can be performed, but the thing is, this plays a major role when you are testing any application or any software. Okay, so this type of testing, okay, functional testing is to test functionality and features of an application. What is a functional testing? Functional testing is to test functionality and feature of an application. So what exactly is the functionality? As I told you before, functionality can be text box, edit box, image, URL, radio buttons, edit box, drop down box, scroll bar. All these comes under functionality. Okay, not just one or two. Everything what you let's take this whole web page, right? If you take this, the whole functionality, whatever you see here is actually a functionality. Okay. Technically, that everything what you see here is so. You know what? Let's check it out. A complex functionality. So I hope everyone understood this Google, right? This is pretty simple, and you can say, yeah, I see a lot of functionalities. I can see this random rolling down button. This is also functionality. I click this, you get this option here, and you have this image too. Okay, this is also functionality. So everything is here is functionality. So now this button doesn't work. You see this? That doesn't mean that this is not working. You see this? I'm clicking this button doesn't work. Now the way the Google has designed this, because when you type this, maybe in future they might also remove this button because there's no more required. Because you start typing here, it starts showing you the results automatically, right? So you really don't need this button, So, but for now you might require, because some places that automatic, is not available. Some places where the internet is very slow, it doesn't show up. So then you require this button. Otherwise, at some point of view, this button will be removed. Okay, so these are all functionalities. Let's see here. Let's go a little bit, little complex here. Okay, let's go here. Let me ask you this. So this is a little bit complex application, Amazon. Now this has very complex functionality. Why? Because if you click these images you see here, everyone is able to see this web page, right? Now these are the images, and URL is actually integrated into that image, right? How? So if I click this, it's really going to that web page. You see this? The whole complete URL is different. You see this? The URL got changed, and you're getting to that web page actually. So from Amazon.com, you're going to a different web page. So this is a little bit complex because whole images are integrated with URLs. Okay, you can you can have this option of quick look and all those things. Lot of complex URLs here. Okay, so this is pretty complex functionality in this application. That's not really that simple. because they might have bugs, all the way, and you don't want to miss those bugs, right? Okay, so let's go more in detail into the functionality. Okay, let me ask you this. Now, I'm hovering my mouse. Let's see, this is my mouse, right? I'm hovering this mouse over the department section. Okay, can anyone notice what's actually happening here? Can anyone say what's happening? So this is a functionality. Did anyone guys notice anything? What happened when I hover my mouse over this department section? Anyone? Anyone? So my question is, what's happening when I hover my mouse over these departments? Can anyone answer what's happening?
So when you click the mouse on the departments, the new categories popped out on the side of the screen.
Okay, that's good. That's, you have seen that categories is popped out and there are subcategories. Okay, good. Anything else you have noticed?
I think the screen has black out on the behind the categories.
I'm sorry, what? Can you repeat, what did you say? I didn't get that.
The background has been black.
Exactly. So that's what I was looking for, right? What I was looking for, that is also a functionality. Okay, you just got my point here. Whenever I hover this mouse, this drop down box open. Now the brightness of the screen behind this is switched off. You see, the brightness is become dim. So that is called functionality. That is also in functionality, and that may or may not be documented. So that's, you need to be very careful. So this is all depends on your observation skills. How good are you, in getting observed it? Okay, so that is the major part, of getting the what is the functionality. Okay, so that's a very good point. Right. So whenever you hover your mouse, this is drop down box. That's good. You can get more sub boxes like this. You can explore this and you keep getting this. That's fine. But what's happening here, background. So you need to notice all these things. Okay. Whenever you see an application, this is pretty complex application, and you need to understand. Okay. So the brightness of the screen is dim whenever you hover your, and not just department. You see this. There's all sections which you have this, let's say, sign in option. You have that option. This orders didn't show. Okay, try prime. This is also shows up. Few of this has this functionality different. Whenever you hover your mouse, and so that can also be a functionality. So you have to make sure such kind of functionalities might be missed in documents. So that will be a bug, right? From your point of view, it can be a bug saying that, hey, you know what? Whenever I'm testing an application, the background brightness is dimmed, but it doesn't show in the document. Is it an issue? Is it a bug? Or how does it work? Is it application bug or is it a document issue? From there your work starts. Okay, now you need to open a defect. You need to follow up with your lead, follow up with the business analyst, follow up with the developer, saying that, hey, you know what, this is the issue. I'm trying to access this application and it has some issue which doesn't document it, which is not documented, or is it the issue from the web application? Okay, you need to follow up and make sure your bugs are fixed. Okay, that's your job. That's how you need to work. Okay, you need to have pretty good observation skills and what's happening when you're trying to do. Okay, so that's called functional testing. Okay, testing the functionality and features of an application is called functional testing. Okay, so let's move to the next one. So there's one thing called integration testing. Okay, that's integration testing. So what you're doing here in this integration testing is, let's take an example here. So here it says integrated. So let's say you have different modules, right? You have different modules like Google.com, YouTube.com. A lot of you drive. This is the different subdomain. You drive.google.com. This is YouTube is a completely different domain. It doesn't belong to Google. It's a YouTube.com. So these are all things, right? These are different applications developed by different developers. A lot of developers might be working on it. A lot of things are happening. Now you want to integrate all into one, right? Now how do you integrate all this one? For example, this is the box. You see this? This is the app, Google app. When you click on this, look at this. All are here at one place, right? Now this is called integration. Everything has been integrated here. So you can see your My Account, you can have this Drive, Gmail, Shopping, Google+, YouTube. So this is called integration. To test this integration, it's called integration testing. Okay, so let's go back to our definition. So testing of an integrated modules to verify combined functionality after integration. So what happens, right? Once the other module is integrated with this module, there might be a lot of issues, because that's a different code. This is a different code. It might be third party. If it is a third party, there are a lot more issues because they have to have license to put their website into it. Did you get that license? You cannot just put somebody else URLs into your web page, right? There's a lot of things to be done. You need to get license. You need to get certifications. A lot of things. Once you all do all this, then you integrate on it, and then you start testing. So that's called integration testing. Okay. For example, here now, if you see the Amazon has pretty complex. Let's see if you see here. There's a lot of things here. Now let's see if I click this. So wood.com. So wood.com is really not a. I don't think it's a part of Amazon. Maybe Amazon might have bought this or something. But this is a completely different thing. Right? This is not really related to Amazon or something, but they have integrated into their website this URL. Okay, so that's called integration. Okay, so let's go to the next one. Okay, then there is something called incremental integration testing. So name itself, right? Incremental, that means keep on increasing. Keep on increasing, keep on testing it. So that's called incremental integration testing. Okay, let's go here. Bottom-up approach for testing. It's a continuous testing of an application as the new functionalities keep on being added. Okay, so let's see here. Let's take an example. If you see here, like, here, this is, let's say they have integrated all this module, and let's say they have increased the modules. Now there are only 14 apps. Let's say there's only 14 apps here, right? Only 14 apps. Now once I scroll down, oh, I got more 9 apps. Okay, So now is the incremental, that has increased, right, from 14 to plus 9 more, okay. So that's incremental, that means it keeps on increasing. Now I also have this button shown up here, even more from here, okay. Now this is good because this shows everything what I have here, okay. So I can see everything. So all these modules are integrated into this. So there's a lot of modules are integrated. So this, if you keep on scrolling down, they keep on increasing. That's called incremental integration testing. Okay. So it's a continuous testing, and if an application keep on being added, new functionalities is keep on being added. It's called incremental integration testing. Let's go to the next one. Now you have system testing. So before going to this system testing, right, let's talk about, say, system testing is more for a client application. So now there is two types of application, okay. One is client application and the other is web application. So far we were discussing about web application. What is this web application? Web application, whenever you do something online, like not online, I mean I would say browser to be more specific. Now, if you're using anything browser like Chrome or Firefox or Safari, whatever you're doing with the browser is called web applications because you're using web app, right? This is web application. You're accessing through URL. That's called web application. And there is something called client application. That means it has to be installed in your system, right? For example, Outlook. This is being installed in my system. Then only I can able to access it, right? Now that's called client application. Now if you are seeing the system testing, that means it's simple client application because it is being installed in the system, right? So now entire system is tested as per the requirements. Okay, entire system doesn't mean that you have to test each and everything. It means that as per the requirement, what does the requirement say? What testing you are doing. So that's important. Okay, so that's the meaning of entire system is tested as per the requirements. Okay, that's called system testing. And so black box, so whenever you're doing black box, okay, so that means this is included in the black box. Okay, so black box is kind of, it is have different modules. Okay, like functional testing, integration testing, system testing, all this is being integrated. I mean, it has a part in the black box. Okay, so that's how you call black box. Even white box has unit testing, system integration testing, and all those. Then you combine to call as white box. Okay, it's just a mixture of various testing. Okay. Okay, so that's called system testing. Okay, system testing is again done by the client applications because because you are trying to see what is there in the system, right? Not in web application. So that's called system testing. Okay, so any questions? Any questions so far? Functional integration or incremental integration? Okay, so let's go to the next one. End-to-end testing. So here, as a QA point of view, we'll keep it simple because if you are going in an ETL point of view, end-to-end testing is a pretty huge list. We'll keep it simple in QA point of view. Okay, end-to-end testing is the name itself, right? From one end to the other end. Okay, from one end to other end. So what does the one end to other end means? Like, right? So you start right from smoke testing. Okay, you do smoke testing, sanity testing, functional testing. Okay, and then you do performance testing. All these testings are included. Then you say this end-to-end testing is done. Okay, so that means it covers from right one end that starts from smoke testing and ends to, then how many testing they want, like till regression testing, or they also have performance testing. That also is included in end-to-end testing. Okay, but if you are considering ETL point of view, ETL have a lot of things because it also includes source, it also includes target, it also includes staging. And then you have jobs. You have to also worry about this job testing. All the dependent jobs are done, independent jobs are done. So it's very pretty huge thing in ETL point of view. But as a QA point of view, it's pretty simple. From one end to other end. From one end starts from smoke testing, sanity testing, functional testing, and so on. Ends with performance or regression. Is there any other after that? Beta testing. Yeah, you can also call beta testing as the end. Okay, so that's the end-to-end testing. Next, we'll go to smoke testing. Okay, so there's no smoke testing here. But smoke testing, so we'll talk about the smoke testing. Smoke testing is, in simple, right? Is it application testable or not? So you are trying to test something, right? Like you're trying to test this functional, you're trying to test on integration or whatever you're trying to start. Before you want to start any testing, you want to make sure is it testable really or it's not. That's called smoke testing. Okay, how do you do this? That's called random testing. Okay, let's say if I went to google.com, I check this only this button. Okay, this button is working. This image, okay, this image with this text box, it's working. So that my smoke testing is done. It's random testing. Okay, you are trying to do randomly. Okay, but still covering most important aspect of the testing. So normally the difference between functional testing and smoke testing is functional testing has test cases, smoke testing doesn't have test cases. This is one of the, it's not exactly a difference, but thing is functional testing, you take some time because you go in detail, smoke testing you're not going in detail, you just do it randomly and you just finish in 1-2 hours, at the max 3 hours, 3-4 hours, that's it. So you're not going in detail or, even if you're going in detail, you're not really executing any test cases on it. But in functional testing, you're really going to do, you're documenting that. Okay, smoke testing, you're really not documenting anything. So the reason, right, sometimes what happens, if the smoke testing is failed, sometimes smoke testing gets failed, right? When you found a bug, and you need to notify developer saying that, hey, you know what, I found a bug. Now developer has to fix that, and once it's fixed, they release it to builds. Okay, now okay, so once it goes into build, so build is like kind of push the code, right? Okay, so let's talk about this. Okay, let's see. There are 3 types of environments. Okay, there are 3 environments. One is dev environment, that is developer uses it, and the other is test environment, who testers will be using it, and the other is production environment, which nobody uses it. That means the client uses this production. So whatever we are doing here, right? Amazon.com, Google.com, that comes in the production end. So that means nobody is using. Only users will be using the production environment. There are 3 environments, right? Not just 3. There are many environments. We'll just keep it simple. 3 environments. Okay. So whenever a developer develops an application, puts the code, he does everything in the dev environment. He doesn't he doesn't have any access to testers environment or something. He does in only dev environment. Once it does, he pushes the code. Now this is third party. No, I'm sorry. There's a middleware team actually who works on this. Once it pushes the code, now middleware team, they run the jobs. Once they run the job, that code is moved from dev environment to test environments. Okay, that's called build. Okay, that's called build because the code is moved from dev to test. Again, from the test to production. Okay, there's a middleware team. This is not done by tester. This is not done by the developers. This is not done by anyone. The middleware team who will be handling this. In a big company, those guys will be handling it. Okay, so that's about environments. Okay, so let's come back here. So that's about smoke testing. Now, like sanity testing. Let's see here, sanity testing. So sanity testing is to determine the new software version. So this is normally for a different version. Same application, different version. That's called sanity testing. You're testing in same application, different version. The version is the reason you have this version because you found some bug, they fixed it, that they get released in a different version because there are some major bugs which were actually hampering this, so they release in different version. So that's the version. Okay, not every bug is released in different version, but the bugs which are important as per the business perspective, as a business point of view, they release in a different version. Okay, so that's called version, and they keep updating the user interface and all those things. Okay, now that's that's about the version. So testing different version is called sanity testing. Okay, so here so let's see here if you can get an example here. So I had two versions of Firefox, the same application, right? Firefox, but two different versions. One is 45th, some 49th version, the other is 50th version. I don't think it works here, but let's check here if we can see here. So the UI is actually, the UI remains same, but the version actually differs. So this might take some time, so let's go here. So if I want to check it out, this version, I will go to click on Alt. Go to About. You see here 55.06.3 is the version. This is the version. Now I can test here 55 point dot 55.0.3 and see how the how the Firefox is performing, and once I restart it gets updated to a different version. Okay, once I tested this, I'll just restart it again. Let's say I've tested in 55.0.3 and I'm again testing that same application with a different version here. Let's see what's the version here in this case. Okay, so this will take time. So we'll just see. So that's you get the point, right? So that's the sanity testing. You're doing with a different version with the same application. Okay. So you're testing to determine if new version is performing well enough to accept the major testing effort. So you have tested some, and once you have completed this sanity testing, you move to the next testing. Okay. Okay. So let's go to the next one, regression testing. So see, normally the regression testing, right? So what happens in this regression testing? Okay, normally this is done using a tool. Okay, using a tool like QTP, Selenium. Okay, these are a few of the tools. Using this tool, you are doing regression testing. This is an automation. It's normally most of the time it's automation. Okay, now you cannot automate everything, so that's the reason you need this manual testing first, right? First you finish this manual testing. Once you have done this manual, you want to go to the automation, so that's called regression testing. Okay, so this is at the end of this whole manual, right? So this is like testing the application if any module or functionality. Okay, once you integrate it, so normally this is after integration. Once you've done integration, you want to do this regression testing. Okay, so this comes really right after integration or incremental integration testing. You use regression testing. Okay, so let me ask you this question here. Okay, here's the thing. Here's what happens. Okay, so we got this. Let's see here what's the version here. This is completely different. 55. You know, we got 56.0. Again, it's in a different version. Okay, so we'll not worry about this. Okay, so let's see here. Regression. No, let me ask you this question here. What happened, right? Let's say developer, develops, this guy develops the application and you tested it. Manual testing is done, right? Manual testing is done, and what happened, right? Now the problem is developer keep on changing the code. They keep on changing the, there's some place where they have to stop this doing and we have to start testing, but that never happens. And the problem is they keep on changing the code. Now what they have, they change the code. Now we have completed our manual testing, right? We have completed our manual testing. We are sign off. Okay, 2 weeks it has to go into production. Okay, that code has to move into production, and we are done. We are not going to do anything because we have tested the whole application and it's good. Whatever the bugs, whatever the issues, we have opened it. That got fixed and everything is good. Now what happens, right? Suddenly the developers, starts at your desk, right? He starts at your desk and saying that, hey, you know what? I've changed the code because there's some issue, because there's some backend issue or some issue as a code point of view. So they change the code, and that guy wants to test you again. So can you test this again, this application? So what is your can anyone say what is your opinion on this? Like, what are you going to do when the developer starts at your desk and ask you, saying that, hey, can you start testing on this or change the code? What are you going to do? What is your, point of view on this? Can anyone answer? So my question is, developer changes some code. Okay, he changed some code. We don't know. Okay, we have tested it, and it was good at that time. So suddenly, developer stops at your desk and saying, "Hey, you know what? There was some issue. You don't know because your tester. We had this from a developer point of view, and we changed the code. Can you start testing?" So, what is your point of view in this? Can anyone answer? Okay, that's good. Somebody said there's a lead, we have to depend on the lead. That's correct. We have to, talk to the lead, because we are not just because developer says or just some random guy says that they start testing. You cannot start testing because you need to have, you're done with this. You're testing because we have utilized all the resources what we have. 2 weeks, it has to go into production. You cannot do again from scratch. It requires a lot of time. It requires a lot of resources. And we are not going to do double testing, right? We are not going to do redundant testing. That's no way. So in that case, that's a really good point. Somebody said you have to go to the lead. Yes, you need to talk to the lead, and you need to check it out what lead has to say on this. Okay. So the other thing is we need to check with the lead, saying this, hey, you know what? You have done this testing, so why don't we do this in regression testing? Because if there is any issue, or if there is any issue that has come up, we'll do in regression testing. Okay, that's how you need to, say, okay. Any questions? You need to approach lead always, right? You're a QA. You're a QA guy because the lead is experienced, right? They are working from long, so many years, so they will be knowing what to do with that. Okay, they might have to go for regression testing. They'll say, hey, you know what? We'll go with the regression testing. We don't have time to do this because we already completed our manual. There's no way we can redo this same thing again because we don't have resources. We don't have a lot of time. We are running out of this, so we cannot really test um, this. So we have to move to regression testing. Any issues, any bugs will only be fixed at the regression point of view. Any questions so far? Oh, 56. So, okay, so somebody asked a question, right? So how are you going to start once? Okay, so here's the thing. There is no like hard and fast rule that you have to do this. Somebody asked a question, right? So how are you going to start once a BA gets the documents and documents is all there? Okay, how are you going to start? So there's not like hard and fast rule that first you need to do this. Okay, first you need to perform smoke testing, or first you need to perform sanity testing, or first functional testing or integration. There is nothing like hard and fast rule. Okay, there's nothing something like that. It's completely based on project. Okay, sometimes you don't even have the smoke testing and sanity testing. Okay, so in my career, like 5 years, 6 years of experience, I never did smoke test. I think once or twice, that's it, and that was only 1 or 2 sprints. Okay, so that really completely depends on the project. Okay, but functional testing, of course, as a manual, you'll be doing this functional testing. Okay, and end-to-end testing, of course, it should be almost so the end-to-end testing is like, again, this is not really, it's a high level. End-to-end testing you'll be doing once all the testing is completed. Okay, all the testing, like until you complete beta testing. This is the beta testing is the last and final. I would imagine this would be a final, or if this anything would be final after beta testing. I don't know, but this should be a final. Once you've done beta testing, that automatically confirms that end-to-end testing is done, because all of the teams, whoever team is there, automation team, regression team, all have done their job. Okay, and we have completed beta testing. That means automatically you can say end-to-end testing is done. Okay. And any other questions? So BA normally, this SRS. Okay, so let me explain you. So SRS is System Requirement Specification. Normally, you may not have access to that. SRS is a little complicated because as a tester, you may not always have access to this SRS, or you may not always require this. It's a really busy project though. But as a QA point of view, the most important document will be FRD, Functional Requirement Document. Or if you are an ETL guy, then you'll be mapping document. Now, ETL guy will have other more documents. They require a lot of documents actually. Okay, because you need to understand what are the keys you are using, what are the primary key, what are secondary key, and so on. So in that case, you would be having entity relationship diagram. Okay, so a lot of diagrams will be using by ETL, but it's QA point of view, the most important diagram you're supposed to have is functional requirement document.
Hello, sir.
Okay.
Sir, excuse me, sir. Hello. Hello, sir.
Yeah. Hello. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, I'm little bit, that I could not, I could not be present. Can you please explain in shortly in number 1, 2, and 3? That is black box, white box, and unit testing. Please.
Black box. So black box testing. Okay. So here's I'll give you the black box testing is a high level testing. Okay, done by the testers, not by the programmers. Simple. Okay. So do you understand? Like high level testing is done by the testers and not by the programmers. And white box testing is a high level testing done by the programmers and not by the testers. Does it make sense? It's completely other way, right? Black and white. So testers and programmers. It's two different things. Does it make sense? And the unit testing is it's just a part in the white box testing. Okay, just like function testing is a part of black box. It's just a unit testing. You're just testing an unit in an application. So for example, we have seen this, right? For example, if you see this, and it's done by the developers. Again, it's no way that testers are doing this. Just a unit here. Let's say if you're doing this, just small unit here, like style. Let's say I'm doing this style. That's one unit, just a module in the whole application. You see this? There's a lot of code, right? And there's sub levels of code. I'm just looking in one unit. This is unit, and I'm just testing this one. It's called unit testing. Okay. Any more questions? Okay, so if no one has any questions, can we close this class for today? So I'll be giving you recording. Okay, I'll send an email. Just make sure if you guys don't get an email, like till 4 p.m. Okay, just 4 p.m. I'll be sending before that, by just by 1 hour, 1 or 2 hours. But if you don't get by 4 p.m., you can email me. I'll be sending you the recording and this slide. Okay.
Hi Manu,
Yes,
did you have our email addresses?
I do have few of the email address, but I'm not exactly sure because I only got email address which I was sent by your.
Can you please tell one by one what email you have got? So we can be pretty sure that you got our email address or not.
So
Or we can send you a message.
yeah, just what, just send it or email me. That's what I said, right? By 4 p.m. if you don't get it, you can send me an email. So not an issue. 1 or 2 days.
I just got your email like 1 hour ago about your schedule and something like that. Is that your email address?
Yes. So so those guys will be having in my list. Whoever got an email will be having my list.
So you might have my email address too then.
Right.
I'll be fine. Thank you so much.
Any more questions? So we'll continue tomorrow. Tomorrow, serious testing. So meanwhile, you can go through the slides, understand a little bit more. If I'm really fast, some people say I'm really fast, right? You can just read this slide and try, or you can also have the recording. You can go ahead and record and try to read it. You'll be understanding better.
Manu, how do we get hold of your recordings?
I'll send an email.
Oh, okay. All right. Through the email.
I'll
All right.
send,
Thank you. Thank you.
I'll be, see, here's the thing. I'll be sending you, and all will be there in the YouTube. But my recommendation is always try to download it. So I'm not sure how long it will be. I don't know because we never know, right? Google might shut down or something happens. You will still have recording. So even if somebody removes it, we don't know. So it's just always I recommend to download it once you get that URL link. Okay, YouTube. Everything is there in the YouTube. So
Thank you.
any more questions? Okay. Okay. So tomorrow we'll, okay, so somebody asked, right? Just give me a second, I'll just, so that's the reason I always recommend people to send me an email because this thing doesn't help. Okay. Okay, so tomorrow, we'll continue with this remaining slides and we'll start, our testing, functional testing, how we open bugs and also giving you homework. Make sure you guys do the homework tomorrow. Tomorrow we'll be starting off your homework, and make sure you guys do the homework which is not said in my class. Okay, so people in here really just like copy and paste. They do whatever I said in the class, they just say the same thing in the homework. So I don't want that. I want really different thing from your side. You should be very innovative, creative. So just make sure you guys be good on that, okay? Because these days from last, I think 2-3 classes, uh, people just keep sending me homework, whatever I told the class. No, that's not what I'm looking for. What I'm looking for is, I'll show you how to get the issues, how to get the bugs from the application, and you need to similarly get this differently, not just same thing. What I said in the class, same thing, different vocabulary doesn't help, okay? You need to be really very innovative in finding out issues, okay? So we'll talk about this tomorrow, and we'll finish this. Okay, if no questions, can we close this class for today? Okay, so somebody asked, right, are we going to cover agile testing? So there is nothing called agile testing. There is an agile methodology. So testing, whatever you do in testing in agile, you can say that agile testing, but really there is no kind of agile testing, okay? Agile is a methodology, okay? Methodology in sense, it's a framework where you perform the work. It's a system, right? The way you do the work. It's an iterative and incremental process, okay? So that's called agile, and it's a methodology, not a software. So you only test to the software, but not really any other framework. You don't really do something called agile testing, and you're not testing system. You're testing applications, software applications. Okay, so agile methodology, yes, we'll be covering it as per the syllabus. I hope everyone got syllabus. If not, I'll be sending it. Okay, so yes, we'll be covering that. Yes, we'll be covering. Okay, yeah, I'll send you the syllabus. Yeah, whoever didn't get, I'll send you the syllabus. Okay. I have one more meeting. So, okay, any questions? You can reach out to email. Okay, so I can call you back. Okay, I have phone numbers, so I can call you directly. Okay. Okay, we'll continue this tomorrow. Okay. Thank you, guys. Yes, this is the only batch I'm taking right now.